Yo, what's up, y'all? I thought I would make this video impromptu um about uh extroverted sensation and why it's described as force in socionics. Um and why am I talking about that? Well, one, because I'm an irrational type, which means, to elaborate, because there's no particular reason. I just want to make a video, and who cares? We might as well talk about extroverted sensation being equated with force in socionics because that seems to be a reoccurring dilemma for certain Jungian folks, or which is really not a dilemma, I don't think, because the problem is if you're trying to subject your Jungian definition and impose it upon a socionics definition, well, then of course you're going to have an issue because they're just different definitions. So the question is, on its own merit, does it follow? And I would argue that it absolutely does follow. So, um, and to be quite honest, these conversations keep occurring, and it can be a little irritating. But who cares? We're not making money off of this. You know, we're just gonna have a conversation. Um, Let me just pull up stuff. I don't know if, yeah, it's still kind of early. My internet is running delightfully slow. Um, and biggest thing as of why it would be equated with force, obviously, is because of the dichotomies that go into the information elements. So, by the way, it's been a little bit since I've even looked into the definitions that Socionics uses, but I'm gonna kind of riff this a little bit. But um, so it's more of an open dialogue, not a concrete argument. So, um, is there anyone even here? There's one person. So, as far as I see it, in terms of extroverted sensation, it's obviously about it's extroverted for one. So, from at least from Jack's definition, this still is true in terms of the energizers, quote unquote, that they're to be extroverted in a socionic sense predominantly refers to um, a kind of expansive and accumulative predisposition. So there's some type of expanding outward in the relative domain of information. So if it's an extroverted sensation type, in some fashion, they're expanding upon the within the realm of sensation. Um, Extroverted sensation is static in nature, and so it's opposed to introverted sensation in this regard because it is not about the relationship between um, the self and some other object and the kind of harmonious dynamic um, flow between movement between objects, so to speak. It is about you have one object, one unit of mass that is either of greater density than another unit of another unit, another object. And because it's accumulating more objects, because it's extroverted and it's sensation, and sensation is extroverted sensation, one of the dichotomies is that it's static again, is that both of those in combination would result in some type of a mass of territory or actual just concrete things. Um, the perception aspect comes in when evaluating the static orientation of objects' physical capacity. Um, that could be how big something is, how heavy something is, and its impact given those features within a given environment. So, an extroverted sensation type might perceive an opponent based upon those static qualities, and it is perceptual. You're evaluating the sensory static nature, um, and staticity, or something being static is getting at more of the nature of the object in view. So, how big is this dude? Can I, and how big am I? And there's that relationship of understanding. Um, how much pressure should I put within a situation to get a desired outcome, a desirable outcome? And so, um, certain behavioral um, byproducts of that kind of mentality is obviously one of competition. That if you have some challenge in front of you, some person or impersonal obstacle, the extroverted sensation type, instead of working around that object and acquiescing or making themselves smaller in order to evade the object, extroverted sensation types, let's say SE ego, right? So it's either base or creative. But to be more specific, we'll talk about extroverted sensation in the context of it being the lead, because that is the most potent form of extroverted sensation. It's the highest valued and s- highest in strength when it is in that position. So it's the most obvious for that reason. Um, they're not trying to see the long-term trajectory of action in the moment and the repercussions of those actions across time, right? That is one of their problems, is that they don't have a dynamic understanding of how actions affect and lead to likely consequences in the future. Partially because their perception favors static kinesthetics, which basically is summed up in the term or phrase tactics, right? They're tactical rather than strategic. And I'm using those terms loosely. I don't want to confuse people because that is a Rhinean dichotomy. And I'm not trying to get into the weeds with that, but at least not now. But so, and they're also not trying to physically acquiesce and to harmonize with the contender. I'll just go along with the contender to get my way, right? It's kind of the smile and wave effect. Like if I keep nodding my head and agreeing, yes, 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 no problem, no problem, then the person or the threat eventually will. I'm putting a wet blanket over them. I'm putting out the flame, putting out the fire, instead of contending with the object directly. Extroverted uh, sensation leads enjoy the head-on collision of interactions, and they cannot conceive of a world in which things happen spontaneously. They cannot conceive of a world that things fall out of the sky. This kind of gets into extrovert intuition and just they just they think opportunities are created through pushing the envelope and asserting yourself in situations rather than taking some type of backseat approach, rather than keeping things open in the mind of an extroverted sensation lead. The longer I keep things open, the window for seizing what I want diminishes. So, extroverted sensation types, leads specifically, have a high sense of urgency and immediacy of acting quickly, decisively in the here and now, not in the far off, distant future, and not in theoretical, hypothetical land of this could happen. I just have to be open to the possibilities as they arise spontaneously. Rather, an extroverted sensation type, let's say lead, uses that for the role and only uses extroverted intuition in the context of they've tried a certain approach, their back is against the wall, and instead of pushing through, they realize that there is no room to do this in the moment. So they have to look for an alternative um, approach. Thanks, bro. I had to upgrade. Hopefully, I'm not like twitching and like I don't know. I have to get all these FPS stuff correct, but you know, can I do that here? I probably screwed it up. I probably shouldn't even worry about that. But okay, cool. And so really when you hear an extroverted sensation type go into extrovert intuition, you feel the pressure of picking from the limited alternatives of what to do in a situation. Um, and they're it's like you can it's almost like a pressure washer or something where you can hear and feel the pressure leave the spout, right? And it's this very like they're still open to alternatives, but they are pressuring a particular outcome. In a they're pressuring towards an immediate response. So they'll keep the door open with a timer on it. And once the timer's up, they may react and pick something like, okay, I have three options here. I can do this, this, and this. Okay, I don't. Okay, I'm doing this. So you can still see that there's still some immediacy even in those situations, and they open the door to just three more possibilities. It's not like they're looking at a whole buffet of possible worlds, right? And they're having some here, having some there, having some there. They're saying, I have three options, and I'm going to make a decisive um, selection right now. And they're not really surveying all the options thoroughly. It's just broadening it perceptually, temporarily, so as to just immediately kind of move towards action. Okay, this is available. Let's do that thing. The more you start to open the door and extend the clock, they get really frustrated, and they're kind of like, okay, can we just do this? You know, and that's a very generic example, but and so you kind of feel that with extroverted sensation leads specifically. Um, Now, obviously, it depends on if it's SEE or SLE. Things are subtly different, but the I've been thinking about SEE for a little bit, and Dana White, the UFC president or commissioner, whatever you want to call him, he's an SEE, and he's extremely SEE-ish in many ways. Watch his videos. Joe Rogan's an SEE, and they're always kind of on. They're always, and that is a stereotype of extroverted sensation that it's always, you know, now, and just visceral. And there's elements of that that's definitely true. Um, um, SLEs, they have that still. There's so many factors. Enneagram does make a huge difference, but SLEs have a little bit more. They're slightly more emotionally muted than that. It's the SEs that are, yeah, yeah, it gets SLEs aren't as usually super out there in that regard. Um, at least that's what I've noticed. Again, Enneagram affects it. Um, I'm thinking of Conor McGregor, who is very much, but he's his tri type in the Enneagram makes that the case. Just high social, 8 wing 7, 8 6 3, just very um has the highest energy I've ever seen out of that person. I mean, just like ridiculously high. Um, and so if you compare extroverted sensation with extrovert intuition, it's the exact opposite problem for extrovert intuition leads. Um, it's contrary to their also wears some persona for sure. Because he has 3 and he's high in social, so that's there too. Um, he's just a crazy dude, but um, what was I saying? He with extrovert intuition, they um they get triggered if you start to limit possibilities, right? So if you try to be too definite about um even the flow of conversation, if you're with an any base and you have a clear objective out of the conversation, like we're going to talk about this. I mean, it's the difference between world rejecting and world accepting. World rejecting is the SE and I valuers, and world accepting is the NE SI valuers. The SE and I's are goal oriented, focused on a particular trajectory and goal. It's very unilateral, one dimensional. We're moving towards this place or moving back in time to this destination, right? It's very one directional, very linear, um, and systematic and targeted is probably a good word. Um, it's like someone shooting a bow and arrow. There's a clear target, and you have one, you know, drawback, right? And it's going straight to the goal. Whereas, NESI could be analogical to a shotgun. There once you shoot it, it's a wide spread. Um, and it hits the target uh with that giant spread. So even in conversation, any SIs will have a tendency to talk around the point to build up the point. Now, this is more specific, I would say, with an LII or an ILE that they will they will if you ask them a question or you have a topic of conversation, instead of drilling in the one point that is relevant to the conversation, the the alpha NT type they will hit on the point, back away, get in the data, right? And all this different observations. Hit it, back out, hit it, back out, hit it, back out, hit it, back out. And it's almost building up a structure from the outside in. Like Lego pieces. They take one piece over here, fit it on, they take another piece over here, and then they start building, and they pull another piece. And when you see them intellectually assemble a particular idea or a particular argument or a particular commentary on the subject at hand, it seems if you're following them from the outside, it seems extremely random and not relevant to the conversation. But if you listen to them build, you recognize that each piece that they put to the puzzle was necessary. Um, Whereas, and again, it's kind of like talking around or, um, circulating around the point and touching in every once in a while to build up a comprehensive whole. Right? It's a what do you want to call it? A Lego style um, assembled comprehensive whole of their thoughts rather than a one-dimensional unilateral draw and fire attack on the topic at hand. When you have these two types in the same room, let's say you could say, we'll do SLE and ILE because we're talking about SE lead. When you're in a call or a conversation with the SLE, an SLE wants to move directly to point from point to point, or an SLE style, basically drop the principle at the forefront and then argue from that point on. So even the systematic building for the SLE is not usually their style. It would be more the integrator beta type. So the LSI or the IEI would be more, let's progress from one point to the next in conversation. And actually, because they're stubborn with NI and TI, they can be kind of more, this is where it comes in the stubborn and flexible dichotomy. Because they're stubborn or inert, not moving on TI and NI, they follow a very particular progression in a conversation. And they don't like when you start to deviate off the rails too much. And they really want to work slowly and systematically through the argument to arrive at the conclusion perceived by them. An SLE kind of ignores that slow progression and will hit you in the balls, right? They'll hit you where it hurts. They know the weak points in an argument. And instead of systematically deconstructing your argument, they find the cornerstone to your whole house and pull that out. So there's no need to take out, unscrew the front door, take the walls down, so on and so forth. They recognize that you have a faulty foundation and they'll just start chipping at the foundation. The whole house falls apart. Think about Trump. Who's an SLE? He's not an SE. That's terrible typing. He's not an SE. He's an SLE. Think of Andrew Tate. Think of Conor McGregor. They hit you where it hurts immediately. Trump, that's why your wife's ugly. Yeah. That's a weak point. That's a weak spot, right? Is it very sophisticated? Doesn't have to be. It was effective. And no one has ever seen that in a presidential debate. And that is, he didn't work through systematics. He didn't progressively move to one thing to the next. He said the one thing that crippled you and exposed you. And just putting it out in the open. That's just beta values in general. Oh, we're going to try to expose the dead bodies. I'll open the whole closet and all these skulls roll out. You don't want to do that because your head's in there too. We can do that if you want. It's that thing, right? So a good example of this, if you watch Damon Gray, Chad, who used to do True Generations, MBTI stuff. He also did some, was in Socionics for a while. If you watch the videos with him in interviews or talking about socionics, most of the time he's directing. This is where we're going to go. Um, Everything is clear, organized, structured. We're moving sequentially um, through arguments, and we're going to come out. And you can feel that once someone has talked about something too much, he's like, okay, let's move on. You can feel that like pressured, um, goal directed conversation style that's prominent with Estes. With ILEs, um, ILEs again they don't they don't like that. They don't like the conversation taking a that kind of form because they're trying to their NE and TE is strong. So they have all these different ideas and different novel facts of things that they're interested in and have studied. And they're doing this thing, right? This is how I see it. Pulling it in, grabbing it. Oh, I remember this, I remember this smorgasbord. And they pull it together and they try to use their introverted logic to succinctly assemble and fit in place what they're talking about. SLEs have a similar approach in that they're doing the structuring, but they're eliminating. It's more deconstructive. They have this objective structure, and it's formulated and structured tightly already. And they're more so eliminating arguments, eliminating things to make it more. Now, I would say if we're getting more specific into the structure of socionics, that actually would reflect more of the LSIs and the IEIs because it's stubborn NT, right? So it might be slightly different, and that's worth articulating, especially LSI, because LSI is very much like this is the truth. And they're also unipolar. So they're rejecting ideas 10 times more than they're accepting ideas. Also because they have inert intuition. So if a certain novel idea pops into their awareness, it's like a pesky fly. And they try to swat it down immediately so as to not denigrate and contaminate this objective truth, this universal law. I don't care about your extroverted logic. You have all these disparate facts outside of me that you're trying to use to contaminate this obvious structure that all people must abide by. And you have different ideas and different ways you see things changing and evolving. But if it doesn't correlate to this structure, then the idea it falls flat. It's just word vomit. You're just playing with stupid concepts to entertain yourself. You're an immature thinker. That's kind of the idea of LSI, that you're playing with fool's gold over here. That that's the kind of way that LSI kind of and I think the ILE and LSI they're not conflictors because that's ESI and ILE. I think they are. I think I forget. Is it beneficiary? I forget. How do you differentiate SE and FE? Because I think Trump using or saying certain things about people to get a reaction is FE. But yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get an emotional reaction to elicit emotions within someone, that is extroverted feeling. There's no question about that. If you're trying to push things to happen and move things tangibly in the environment, that's kinesthetics. But it's because you're seeing extroverted sensing and extroverted feeling, extroverted ethics in a bold and valued sense. So those are the first things that hit you. I think Trump has an immature evaluation of the public opinion about himself, and or his effectiveness in eliciting positive responses in people. He has a superficial evaluation of that. If they're laughing, they love me, whatever. Can't you see that everyone loves me? Can't you see this? It's obvious. I'm the best. Everyone knows it. So, or if he's trying to console someone or try to emotionally comfort people, or you can feel that there's a strain, that it's not as fluid as someone who has high extroverted ethics. And he's just not quite there with it, right? He can't quite accomplish certain emotional effects in an environment that he probably would like to. He can get people angry and fired up, so he has a limited range in regards to extrovert ethics. But that's being mobilized towards structural change within a given environment. He's not trying to simply become an icon or to create a message to inspire people. He's dipping into extroverted ethics in order to mobilize towards a certain achievable direction or achievable goal tactically. So his extroverted ethics is being used as a means to a greater end. And that greater end is being at the top of the hierarchy, controlling things from top down, driving the ship where he desires for it to go. And he's a deconstructionist by all intents and purposes, in the sense of the system sucks. Everyone's bought and sold. Everyone's fake. You need someone who's real, right? You need someone who is strong and communicates and tells the world, don't F with the United States, right? That's basically the Trump mantra. I'm going to tell you the truth. This is the truth. I don't care if you like it or not. This is in your best interest. I will drive down prices. I will drive down taxes. I will make the name of the United States great again amongst the world leaders and locally. I will restore national pride back to where it once was. That kind of idea. So he's a tactical marshal more than anything, rather than an influential inspiration or trying to create a message that is remembered for years. That's not Donald Trump. So, yeah. But yeah, different with ILEs. They don't like if you shut down conversation or you shut down just the freedom to share ideas and go back and forth. Yeah. So, any more questions? Any more questions? Do you got any more? Do you got any more questions? Yeah. Let me get to the yam. Sweet yams. Oh, yeah. IME explanation videos. Sure, I can. Yeah, it'll probably be kind of what I did now. Starting off with the extroverted sensation and just jumping to different kind of putting it together. I don't usually follow the same trajectory within a given video. So it'll be a little scattered like it always is. But I could, yeah. The biggest thing with the information elements is understand the dichotomies. That is they are almost algebraic. And when you get someone pooping out the word force for extroverted sensation, um, off the cuff, if that's the word, is that how you say it? Cuff or cusp? I never know how to say stuff like that. Um, uh, People hear those phrases and assume that they're arbitrary. They're not arbitrary. They are byproducts of the dichotomies, the elemental dichotomies, and it's a natural phrase that again is produced from all of those things coming together. Extroversion, static, um, sensation. What else is in there? Irrational, which also deals with the identity of things in regards to uh, what something is rather than what something should be, which is um, the the intuition and sensation are irrational. Um, Logic and ethics are rational, and so yeah, within that you have a different subdivision. Uh, there's static irrationality, which would be extroverted sensation, extroverted intuition. And then there is dynamic irrationality, which is SI and NI, introverted sensation and introverted intuition. So you have sensation, which is SI, time, telos, NI, SE, extroverted sensation, force, um, extroverted intuition, probability, or ideas. Then you get into the dynamic rationals, extroverted logic, extroverted ethics, TE and FE, dynamic rationality. Then you have static rationality, which is introverted logic and introverted ethics. Static, the that's a that's an interesting thing between static and irrationality, because in a sense it's almost double emphasized on the identity of something, because if something's static, it's not movable, it's inert, right? It is there, and it is essentially what it is. So you get into the law of identity, basically. um, it has certain properties, parts, functions. Well, functions actually probably would be more dynamics, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Yeah. You're probably like, why are you looking up there? First of all, I have a map up here. I'm actually not looking at the map, but I'm going in my whiteboard. Flow state. Taylor. Speaking of SLA, brother, I've been popping in some of your videos recently, checking out what you guys are talking about. To be honest, I'm quite lost. I have to watch more of your stuff, but it looks like it's pretty active. Looks like it's pretty popping in there. So, yeah. Do we need to do a video, bro? Trying to get two irrationals to make a plan. Have fun. What was I saying? I forget. Yeah, just jump on sometime and you'll figure out as you go. Yeah, man. I'm down. I'll have to. I think I popped in either last week for a little bit. But yeah, you got some cool people on there too. Seem down to earth. But yeah. So I could go into that in more detail. But that's the biggest thing. If you don't understand dichotomies, and again, that's just one aspect of socionics dichotomies. There's functional dichotomies. And again, once you learn that, and if you still have objections, then there's more of a conversation. But if you don't know those truly, you're going to have a hard time arguing that socionics is either invalid. You won't even really know what to look for, to be quite honest. Because people, and that's true of any system, people, they take things at face value and assume arbitrarity until they actually investigate how the system is constructed. Um, and once, yeah, for me, when I learned the dichotomies, and then you get into type dichotomies and intertype relations. So it's not as simple as people would like to imagine that, oh, well, just forces, that's stupid. And then again, people will go off of force and make logical leaps in that if you're not randomly punching people in the face that give you a bad look in the street, you're not an SE ego. That's stupid. That is stupid. So it's just a stereotype built upon false assumptions that are unfounded and don't have any logical correlation to reality at all. So, but that's the type community. That's just the nature of the beast, right? That's just what we do out here. So, but yeah, I'll probably do more of that stuff and probably do more, um, I really just need to get into conversation with people just to have more. We need to have more group discussions. And I might try to get on some of those jack off videos. Getting a little typing sessions. I'm gonna say Solomon. He may not even watch this. Don't care. Don't know. But all I'm saying is some of these types that bro be pooping out for people is just crazy to me. If you're in sociology, you know what I'm talking about. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, LSI. Come on, dude. What are we doing? No, he's no, he's not. No, 50 Cent ILI. Really? Is this what we've come to, guys? Is this? Oh, it's a shame. It's really, really a shame. Um, Arnold. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was born with SLE tattooed on his freaking traps, just imprinted on him from birth. He would be the most extroverted LSI I've ever seen in my life. I mean, that'd be profound. My whole concept of LSI would be reconstructed. Like, whoa, this is potent. This is some potent stuff right here, man. So, yeah, any more questions? Any more comments? Rev, well said. Yeah, dominance mainly. As well as some persona. Oh, that's Conor McGregor. Yep. True. Conor just dropped a new movie, Roadhouse, with Jake Gyllenhaal. Looks trash. Doesn't look good at all. So I wouldn't watch it if I were you. I'm not. But if you'd like, it's there. You won't do nothing. You won't. I need to get a Conor McGregor. Yeah. What else? Y'all watching? This is interaction time, baby. What's the word? What are we doing? I ain't got nowhere to be. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. Also, using the running dichotomies to type people is a stupid approach too. That's a common thing because it's quick and easy. It's a very TE-ish way to approach typing sessions. I don't follow that that method. That's not a smart move. Um, which is usually more common with the Model G ists. The Model G-ists. Um, they are very, very enticed by the Riemann dichotomy uh, typing method, whatever you want to call it. Um, but yeah, so I need to do more typing sessions, like celebrity type. That'd be kind of fun. I know you got questions or comments, bro. Come on now, don't leave me hanging. Help me out. I'm trying to think of stuff. um, yeah, personality theory, man, very interesting stuff. Never is a dull moment. It's partially why I got into it because it just never dies because people are always there, right? So you always have the your primary interest hitting you in the face because the context of this theory is primarily with personality type. Obviously, you can extrapolate the theory into other domains. Some people have applied socionics, information metabolism to, I think Osher did this too, but astrophysics, um, or physics in general, or just other theoretical structures that are reflected and illustrated in other domains. I do think that in people, this information is animate. Obviously, it's the most embodied expression of these concepts and of this information. Almost, it's really interesting. It's almost as if the information, when it isn't in people, obviously is impersonal, and at best, well, at the very least, you can say some of the information elements have a representational value in other domains, um, um, at least in some base form. Um, but when the information metabolite, when the information elements are demonstrated and manifested and animated through peoples, you see the I don't even know if you want to say the truest form of the information. That sounds kind of woo woo and weird, so I'm naturally reluctant to say that. And I use the word manifest, which is gross. But um, you're just all people are always there. So there's a dynamism with the theory because you're always interacting with people, whether it be in intimate relationships, whether it be in relationships at work, whether it be just random people you encounter on a day-to-day basis. They represent um, a they represent a obviously a personality type, but more specifically a conglomerate of unified. That might be a contradiction in terms, but a composition. That's what I was trying to say. A composition of information that's unified in a person. Um, which it's like, duh. You could have just said personality type. Yes, of course I can, but either we approach it that way, right, or we start from the opposite direction. We can start with personality type, and they have this, or we can say they have a bunch of information, and that is embodied in a composite, which is a personality type, a definitive personality type. And then you have another person that has all of these this informational elements that when the person is born are genetically composed into one personality type that has a relationship, whether symmetrical or asymmetrical, with another person of a different type. And the communication obviously is going to be affected by that relative similarity or asimilarity or difference, whatever, which creates a natural intertype relationship between personality types. Of course, intertype relations exist. For intertype relations to not exist, the only option that I can see is that only one person exists. And there would still be some type of relationship between the person and other aspects of reality that have their own informational composition, and that would create some type of relationship. It just wouldn't be, it would be one of inanimate versus animate relationship versus two animate objects, two people, sentient beings, expressing a more dynamic relationship than one of a impersonal thing versus a personal thing. Um, and so, so intertype relations are presupposed in any personality theory. They have to be. The question is, how do you account for what that demonstratively looks like, and why is that the type of relationship that those types of individuals would have? And obviously the relationship would either, there's symmetrical relationships and asymmetrical relationships. And that's a basic primer of reality. And so why would that not apply with personality theory? Of course it does. And so, again, all that's presupposed in every system. So you can kind of approach personality theory like, what personality theory is a subset of psychology, obviously, which is a subset. It all goes back to a certain metaphysic about reality itself as a whole. And because of that, what was I saying? Don't lose this point. There are certain governing principles within reality in all aspects of reality, even this little tiny subdivision of intelligibility and understanding of what we know as personality theory. It's just a speck in the greater whole of understanding in reality as a whole. But those principles, nevertheless, because they exist within that structure of reality, must abide in all aspects of reality, including that little infinitesimal speck of knowledge known as personality theory. And a basic primer, like asymmetry and symmetry, is a real feature of reality as a whole. And so even with personality theory, you're going to have relationships like that. And so there's no way around, if you don't have an intertype relationship structure within your personality system, you're missing a necessary piece in your personality theory. You can't talk about personality theory if those personality types don't have embedded within that system a set static relationship with other types, at least to some degree. It doesn't make sense. That's unavoidable. So you're behind schedule, so to speak, if you don't actually even have that in your system, at least in my opinion. But I think that opinion is a matter of assessing what's necessary at all. And that has to be, I don't see how that's excusable, basically. And it has to be a sufficient explanation for your system to have any value or any cogency, right? If that's the right word. Otherwise, it's appealing privately, and so it has relatively no collective value for anyone outside of that community, which is pointless at that point, really. So that would be true for any system, in my estimation, my opinion. Um, so um, what was I getting at? Um, there was something else I was going to say. Um, P Diddy, SEE. What up, bro? My brother. SEE, P Diddy. Probably. Probably. Also, gonna get 25 to life. him and our boy R. Kelly are gonna be making some just absolute crazy prison mixtapes. I mean, just insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, he's probably an SE though. I haven't looked. Dude's a weirdo, bro. Like just strange. Um, and he's also very vague. Like P did. I think it's because he's probably just legitimately not a smart guy. He doesn't seem like he has everything all together upstairs. Clearly, um, he's got. Never mind. There's something upstairs, but it's underage. Anyway. Um. So, what was I saying? Yeah, you don't ever get anything concrete out of P Diddy when he's in interviews. He doesn't really say a lot of anything substantial. That's a lot of rappers, to be honest. That's a product of having a low IQ, just generally. That's just a fact. I mean, just not very articulate. Doesn't really say anything definitive. It's just very yes or no kind of stuff. So he would be hard to type just from that. But maybe that's probably a good chance. I could see that. It doesn't sound wrong off the bat. Dude, we should do a video. Let's type him. Whenever you're free, hit me up. We'll do something. Because I am interested in typing him, and it's relevant, and it's kind of comedic. We should let's get it, bro. Me, you, Jack, Solomon. I don't know because he's gonna say he's probably like an IEI or something. I don't know about that guy, but seems cool. But nah. I'm joking. Some of his takes are strange. I think that's a fair assessment. But let's do that. I'd be down. There's a lot. There's a lot of SEEs, man. There's just a lot. There's a lot. I think Drake's probably SEE. I think I typed him in SEE. Either an SEE or I thought he might have been an EIE potentially. I can't remember which one I did type him as though. I might have typed him as an EIE. I don't know. He's one that I had to look into more. I think J. Cole and Kendrick are both IEI. Probably. Ye is obviously seems more EIE-ish. I used to think he was also SEE, which is still, that's the thing about SEE is that public image part, they don't really care about that much. But I think Kanye's bipolarism has a weird SEE-ish overlay. And I'm not saying that SEE seemed bipolar, but it's like the combination of him being an EIE and bipolar together seems to somehow produce. Oh, he was just typing P. Diddy. I'll have to look at that. It's probably something weird. I almost don't even want to watch it. Because he's probably going to type him ILI like he typed 50 Cent, which is so dumb, bro. That's not what we doing? What's going on here, man? Um, yeah, Diddy's weird. SCE does sound right off the rip though. DJ Khaled, probably SEE, most likely. Um, SEI or SEI. Snoop. I wonder if Snoop is an SEI. I could actually see that. He's so chill. That actually would make more sense because he'd have like three-dimensional SE. It'd still be there, but he's just a very chill. He has to be an SEI. But he's always high too. So it's kind of like being high and SEI sometimes have a similar overlap effect going on there. Are you chill because you're SE ego or SE bait or SI ego or SI base, or is it because you're high? Or are you high because you're SI base? The world will never know. Obviously, it depends on the motivation, but you get my point. People run with that. Only the SEIs are the people who smoke weed. If you smoke weed, you're an SEI. That's what DJ said. That is not what I said. Um, who else? Uh, Ice Cube, LSI seems like FE Polar, right? Something like that. You know, kind of like the it's kind of like the what's his name? Oh, what is that old dude's name? He's an actor. I can see him. He's also SLI. I forget. Just kind of that like get off my lawn type energy. You know, stubborn sensation. Um, he got SE. Okay. All right, Solomon. All right. That's not bad typing for him, honestly. I don't. He has strong. First of all, he has strong extroverted ethics. There's no doubt about that for P Diddy. Um, seems very SF in general, which that would make sense. Um, who else? I'm really just doing this off the top of my head. So I was going to end this, but um, Tupac, EIE, probably. Um, probably. I'm trying to think who would be an SLE rapper. I know there's been probably plenty. But I can't think. Why am I blanking? Damn. I don't remember. Whatever. So yeah, we'll have to do that, bro. That'd be fun. Um, there's a lot of content there. There's a lot of people we could type. But SE does make sense. For sure. But oh man. There you go, girl, with thousands in your palm. Why you can't let bygones be bygones? Oh, why go? What must I do if I can't live without your love? Thinking of you. Cupid doesn't lie, but you won't know unless you give it a try. Did you see the list of typing it for land sauce that I covered? No, I didn't see that. I did see his list, and it looked weird. Looked strange. Some of them I agree with, probably like 60%, maybe. Some of them were definitely very weird to me. So, what is your type? Last year, no, dude. I haven't talked with talking with famous people. Oh, you saw it. Yeah. SLE. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I have not talked to I only talked to Eric once, but that's what I've been typed the majority of the time. Cupid doesn't lie, but you won't know unless you give it a try. Did you? Yeah, I didn't watch that. I didn't know you made a video on him covering his his typing list. I'll have to look at that. It's I feel like we're pretty similar in the way we approach typing people, and usually come to similar conclusions. So I could already imagine your your objections with certain things, but I'll definitely watch it though for sure. Because some of those types on there, I just did not. But again, Model G is a weird creature. So, and some of them, I'm like, how do you even have enough video for these? Like, some of these people are not even like that, that well. I mean, most of them were, but some of them, I'm like, this seems like just an impromptu vibe type. But I don't know. But yeah, I've been typed more than probably everyone in this chat combined. Been typed literally probably just in MBTI Socionics, probably like, let's see, 2, probably 15 times. I'm not even going to hold you up, bro. I was hungry for that info. Give me more of that data. Let me do some abductive reasoning. Yeah. Cupid doesn't lie, but you won't know unless you give it a try. Lie, but you won't know unless you give it a try. Ain't no doubt about it. Never gonna leave, never gonna go. Only real ones know that song, bro. If you don't know Cupid by 112, your life's screwed up. You need to get your life in order. That's real music. Good old Mace and Biggie. Stop playing. Stop playing, bro. So yeah, I will watch that. I'll go out watch it right now, man. I didn't know you made that. I'm actually really interested. Hopefully, you made an actual video, and hopefully, I'm not getting my hopes up. I would be sad. That's a perfect burn a black and mild and enjoy event. So And I know you, bro. I already know what you're I can already imagine. Just like, all right, let's take a look at this janky list. Let's see what's going on here. But hit me up though on Discord, bro. We'll get something if you're down. We'll get something. I'm itching to do more collaborative. That's what people want to see, really. Let's do like, you know what I'm saying? Like let's do more collaborative videos. Like the I watched um the whole and Mike Tyson, that's another person I'd like to do that the type community type basically thing with but Arnold, that was a great discussion. I watched the whole thing. I thought it was really interesting. Um so yeah. All right, peace guys.